who's going to have to get there. Ekitike has stolen, and Ekitike scores for Liverpool. The most generous of gifts. But boy, did he pounce on it like
Redheads.
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 So sick. So sick.
Redheads. Welcome to Redheads, your number one West Coast-based Liverpool Football Club podcast.
Tell
James,
them.
when do we stop saying that? Never?
When we're not number one.
There you go. I am your co-host, Ian Locke, joined as always. You just heard him. You can't see us, but we're matching hats. We're wearing matching hats. It's a key detail. James Morris. James. What is going on? How are you?
Well, first, I hate waiting to be introduced, so I start speaking right away. I just want to set that out. Number one Liverpool podcast, West Coast based, number one internet. Tell your mates. How am I feeling? Not great. I felt better.
Yeah.
In fact, we're going to get into it, but this is about as low as I felt. It's about as low as I felt.
This is like crisis times.
Ian, the sky is falling.
unfathomable.
The sky is falling,
Yeah.
and I don't really know what the sky's going to land on.
Right.
Salah, relegation. We're going to get into all of this, but it's awful. It's awful. It's awful right now.
It's really bad. And it's funny too, because we're also, technically unbeaten in 3, quote unquote,
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel good.
No, this draw felt worse to me than any loss so far.
This is the worst one, and we'll get into it.
Yeah.
James is referring to the Leeds United draw. That was just a unfortunate collapse.
It was a real
by the
gut
Reds.
punch.
But we also had another game too, midweek, and that was against Sunderland, James, a team that I think we talked about on the West Ham episode in the lead up to it, where you and I were, cautiously optimistic, but we knew Sunderland would bring, their strengths. They would bring their strengths, and their strengths would hurt Liverpool. And the fact that they're very physical, they're good on set pieces, and they really take the game to you. And that game sucked. It was a bad game from Liverpool. We looked bad, and yeah.
That game ultimately did suck. During the international break, we previewed the 5 games, a sort of a 5-game run in the league.
Yeah.
That's West Ham. Well, I guess it started with Forest.
Right. This was the run that was supposed to be easy. A good run of fixtures for Liverpool.
The Redbird, stroke Phoenix, rising from the ashes,
Right.
winning 4 or 5. That's what we talked about. It started
Right.
with Forest. We got spanked right away. Then we beat West Ham. But during the preview, we were both pretty hesitant to call a win against Sunderland. They're playing so well. Like you said, their strengths are the perfect strengths to really highlight our weaknesses: size, physicality, back 3, set pieces.
To be fair, we have so many weaknesses, so it doesn't really. You don't really have to have much to
Right. Name a strength.
Liverpool.
That's our
Right.
kryptonite right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
But so I'm glad we're talking about Sunderland first. It makes sense chronologically. That's sort of the most logical way to do it. But there's something that I wanted to say about Sunderland, sort of
Yes.
in Slot's and Liverpool's defense favor. So basically, we played West Ham. Slot made the big call to bench Salah. That's going to come up again. Don't worry. Basically made a couple of tactical tweaks. Szoboszlai on the right, Wirtz in the floating 10 role. Really sort of the main man. Go ahead.
It was kind of this. It was essentially the same lineup as the West Ham game, for the most part.
Yeah, that's right. I think it was exactly the same. Oh, did he swap? That's when he started.
Robertson was in for Kirkes.
Robertson for Kirkes, which is like.
But it was basically another big call from Slot to take out Salah. But again, given the result of the West Ham game, I think everyone was pretty pleased with what was announced in terms of the lineup,
and
because,
certainly with the result.
Exactly.
Right. So the West Ham game, we talked about this in our last ep. ultimately kind of boring, sort of like a consummate 2-0. Not a ton happened. Basically, don't do anything stupid,
Right.
and our quality ultimately will shine, which is exactly what happened when Isak scores that beautiful, like, casual one-touch bottom corner finish off of the Joe Gomez long throw.
Right.
I mean, ultimately it was off the Gakpo pass, but it starts with the Gomez long throw. Check our YouTube shorts, by the way. We got great coverage for that.
Oh my God, the shorts, man,
Um,
incredible.
but so the point is, it was set up to be boring, no nonsense, and then quality will tell. We'll score a goal, which is exactly what happened. And I think that Slot set out to do the exact same thing. You have to keep in mind that our last 2 home games, we conceded 7 goals leading into
Right.
Sunderland. So if you sort of take that game objectively, we didn't concede a chance really until Van Dijk makes the boneheaded mistake that he makes. He knocks the ball sort of thoughtlessly into like the center circle, about 30 yards from goal, and then he doesn't track a runner, or he doesn't step to his man, excuse me, and the shot deflects in off his ass into the bottom corner. My point is, Slot set up to play Sunderland boringly, the same way we
Yeah.
played West Ham, and except for shooting ourselves in the foot, it would have been fine. It would have been fine.
It's just one of those things where he, like you said, he sets us up essentially to absorb whatever Sunderland throws at us.
Right.
The thing is that we're so bad on the counterattack. Like, besides this Leeds United game that we'll talk about later, I don't remember the last time we had a counterattack goal. And obviously with this game, you know, again, we were set up so defensively, but there was no attacking threat on our end.
But
We
there
had
was
so
no
much of the
threat.
ball. We had so much
Yeah.
of the ball. We had 68% of the possession to Sunderland's 32%. We had 23 shots on goal, with only 4 of those being on target. So just a lot of hit and hope type of stuff that you're just like, we're playing at home. I watched the majority of this game. I had to miss some of it because I was driving home from work, but just that those first like 30 minutes were so scrappy. It was so like bereft of any quality from either side. Both teams looked so poor, and it just again was so confusing because I was like, there just was there's just no confidence throughout the team. It just felt so like so dilly-dally on the ball with no one to pass to, and like no one really knowing when to run into space.
Yeah, no
Or
movement. That's been
no
a
movement whatsoever.
staple of this team recently.
And again, it just speaks to the inconsistency of this team where you can have, again, the West Ham game being what it was. West Ham are a poor team, and it essentially let us have the ball, and just, let us do whatever we wanted with it. But there was just no sign. Like, obviously Sunderland were out to play, but there was just no there. It just seemed like it was a different team on the pitch, even though it was the exact same 10 players there from the game previously. It's just very confusing.
Yeah, well, I think exactly like you're saying, Sunderland is just better than West Ham. West Ham is bad. West Ham could go down. I think they're in 17th, maybe 16th right now. They drew today being Sunday. They're just not very good. And Sunderland's so much better and more well-drilled, know what they're about. I think it's just like putting it shortly. But I think that you're talking about no confidence, no consistency. I think we shouldn't be in this position, but we are. And Slot would have shaken hands on the kickoff 0-0.
Mm-hmm.
To have back-to-back clean sheets, that's 2 bricks in the foundation, and a couple of unbeaten, and the defense finally has a couple of wounds licked clean, and like we looked awful in possession, but we're sacrificing any attacking threat in order to build on a decent foundation. I think that was the intention, and it would have played out that way if it weren't for, again, boneheaded mistake this time for Van Dijk.
And we talked about this on the last episode too, where it's like, if we do not make a mistake, if we're not stupid, we don't make a mistake on the ball defensively, then we might come out of the game with the clean sheet. We might come out with our heads held high. But once again, and this time it wasn't Konate, it was Van Dijk, like you said, makes the mistake, leads to a goal. And at this point, it just feels like just this weird confidence issue. Like
Groundhog Day.
It just seems like any chance we give the opposing team will go in the goal. So you just can't give them anything. But we're just so inept at defending and we don't have anyone to rotate either. So these are the guys we're gonna be playing with.
These
We
are the
can't
guys.
phase anyone out and phase anyone into the team. So I don't know about you. Like, I just don't know. I don't know. With like these defensive lapses, I don't know like how you undo this pattern, or like how you besides playing through it. It doesn't seem like we're playing through it. It seems like we're digging
We're
ourselves into
digging
a bigger
deeper.
hole.
Yeah.
And I just don't know like what you do without, like what Slot did was he took Salah out of the team in order to give us more of a defensive shape, which I agree with. And that worked for West Ham. And on these next two games, it didn't work. So I don't like there's no sign of like build, like you were saying, like these building blocks. I don't see that at all. We're still like in phase one, and phase one sucks.
We're in phase one, and it sucks. I agree, but so this is where I have some sympathy for Slot, and
Yeah.
it may be that the results are such that it doesn't really matter.
I do too,
like,
for the record,
sympathy, like we're out of rope, like
Right.
our hands are burned, the rope's been pulled too fast. But again, you're talking about not having defensive solidity, and you're right, essentially. But if it weren't for, again, a boneheaded mistake from Van Dijk, the biggest mistake of the season, maybe besides the game against Crystal Palace, against Leeds, from
Mhm.
Konate. Jesus, we'll get to that. Then we come out the back of those 3 games, even if we still
And
drew with Leeds, saying, well, now we've got 3 on the bounce, unbeaten, without
right.
conceding. Like this, I don't know that there's any manager that can help this sort of mistake.
Yeah. That's why when people are saying Slot out, which I get to an extent, because it's this is it
It's
just feels
woeful.
like it's really bad. And Arne Slot is not like Klopp. He's not a personality, which means that like when we had these phases of uh of just poor play under Klopp, we had Klopp. Like, he was like this shining light. Like, we
He
knew
was the
he would get us
Stardust.
through it. Exactly. And with Slot, he's just so he's so Dutch that he's just like there's no connection. And I think that's what a lot of people are feeling right now. They want someone who will throw a chair across the room, or just have have show something.
Yeah, you want some passion.
Right. But it's just
Mourinho?
one of those things. No, thank you. It's just one of those things where it's like, once one thing happens, a bad thing happens, then it's just an entire collapse. And
It's over.
we will
Yeah.
get into it. We could have lost this game against Sunderland at the very end. No thanks to Chiesa, who essentially saved our hides. But again, we could have, there was a huge opportunity to lose this game at home.
Yeah.
And thanks to Wirtz, who slalomed his way through the defense to get his first goal. They called it an own goal, but it was his goal.
It was a beautiful run. Yeah, solemn is exactly the word. Yeah.
And it took a moment of magic, and that was in the 81st minute. And you really thought that, okay, here we go, we can win this one. And instead, we have all of our players up the pitch. Sunderland has a counter, and if it wasn't for a Chiesa goal line clearance, we would have lost this game. And again, it just, we can't. It's really hard for us to build on positivity as well. We scored a goal, but we still leave ourselves wide open. So there's no shape. Whenever we're trying to, chase a goal, Slot has this tendency to throw in every single attacker that we have in order to pull one back or snag a win. And it just, it's not a really good look from him. Even though I do support him in the end, I do feel like it's something that he really needs to get a handle on.
I think that might be sort of the most damning phase of play for Slot when we're chasing a goal. Like you're saying, he throws on every forward on the bench. Van Dijk goes forward. The fullbacks are making runs into the box. And so, like you're saying, there's nobody back. I mean,
Right.
Chiesa was 10 yards into the opposition half, Sunderland's half. And on that chance, I guess you've seen that the Sunderland forward, he's got 10 yards of space by himself, but he's in his own half, so there's no offsides.
Right.
Point being, yes, there's no control, there's no shape. It is just, I'm going to roll the dice and hope I get double sixes, and he since our last late winner, which was Burnley. He's been rolling snake eyes every time, and there's really nothing to take from that shows you, oh, there's a direction here.
Yeah, and look, it is like Sunderland have been very good this season so far, but the matter of fact is that they are a
Get 'em.
newly promoted team.
Yep.
So the fact that we
At Anfield.
at Anfield, the fact that we were not as playing to their level, but almost like playing within ourselves, it's just like really infuriating.
Playing like
when
we're
we
the underdog of the game.
When we should have taken the game to them, we were basically couldn't string a pass together and just let them in the game. Because at the end of the day, they have 1 win in 5, right? Like they're not. This isn't like a power. This isn't Arsenal. This is not some significant powerhouse. It is Sunderland. So it's just really frustrating. It's just, and this whole season, especially when we're going on this bad run, it's like, okay, well, we'll win the games at home. Like we have to win the games at home. We have a horrible home record so far. I don't even know what our home record is, but it's not good.
Well,
I don't know if you have it.
We're just not good.
I mean, yes, that's true. But it's infuriating. It's the more I talk about it, the more angry I get, because this draw. It's like, yes, we scored the last goal of the game in that equalizer, but it was more of like a saving face rather than like anything to build confidence on. It just felt like a rescue mission when it shouldn't have been in the first place.
That's true. I agree. The only sort of caveat I would say to that is, damn, it was nice to see Wirtz look like the Wirtz that we signed, even if it was only for a minute. That was nice.
Yeah.
Not that it translated into Leeds, I would say. I wouldn't say that he was poor. Maybe, I don't know, but should we move on to Leeds?
Yeah, let's get into it. So yeah, James, what the hell, man? This was, I would say, a pretty underwhelming first half of soccer at Ellen Road.
Underwhelming, but I would say that the approach to that first half is similar, but it was a better version, but the same approach as Sunderland, which is to say, no nonsense. They don't get anything, which they didn't for the first half. We also didn't get much. Wirtz, again, had sort of a half chance when the ball sort of deflected around to him. But it was the same thing. It was get to halftime, we're away. Leeds is a tough place to go, promoted or not. It's raucous. It's a cauldron. And it was basically Leeds get nothing, and that's what they got for 45. I didn't think it wasn't so miserable. It's just all the context that made it miserable.
Yeah. I think going into this game, it was essentially the storyline was Mo Salah is left out again. And it was the same team.
I went in too quick.
Yeah, the same team with the exception of Jones in for McAllister, Kirkes back in for Robertson, and Bradley gets his first start after coming back from injury.
Well, there's one other starter.
And Ekitike as well. And I would say this first half, I mean, in terms of comparing this to the Sunderland game, I thought the quality on the ball was a lot better.
Yeah.
And, we were playing away, so there's a little bit more of like you don't have to have the ball. Like you're kind of just going to absorb as much pressure as you need to. But I don't know, James. Again, we score the 2 goals.
Right. We're sort of fast forwarding to the part where it was awful, which I understand.
I know. I just stopped thinking about that. But we do score 2 great, basically back-to-back goals from Ekitike, who we've talked about before. He needed to get back on the score sheet. Isak was back in the team. He scored his first goal against West Ham. It was fantastic. Didn't perform against Sunderland. And we really need Ekitike to basically make a competition for that spot, for that number 9 spot. And he did.
He's doing
in the 40th minute and the 50th minute. He scores back-to-back. That 50-minute goal where he poaches the defender, I think he snatches on a misplaced pass.
Yeah, the first one is a misplaced back pass.
That's the first one.
But he's still got a lot of work to do, and he does it so well, and again, so casually, sort of in a Wirtz style, like sort of gliding over the pitch with the ball. And the finish was, again, picture perfect, right into the corner. It was a lot like his goal against Frankfurt. You're talking about our last counter goal, and I think that that probably is it against Eintracht Frankfurt.
Yeah, he looked really good. And then the second goal, just 2 minutes later, a really, really great cross from Bradley. A
Yep.
player, again, who has a great cross on him. He goes up and down the pitch. He gets himself into those positions where he can put in a cross.
And whisper it, he pressed and won the ball back.
Exactly,
The press,
exactly, James.
Jesus.
But also, with that, too, someone was in the box to collect that cross, too.
Yep.
There's so many instances where we'll put a cross into the box and
To
no
no
one's there.
man's land.
No one
Yep.
attacks it, but Ekatike was there.
And another great finish. I mean, I guess there's a little bit more luck in this one in that, you know, Ekatike hits it and it bounces up over the keeper. Ekatike sort of hit it straight down. But it's still a great finish.
Yeah, I know there was like a slight offsides, but it was fine. And
miles on.
From there, it's the 50th minute, and you think, smooth sailing, we got this, easy peasy. No, that's not what happened. Because
it was smooth sailing for a while, right?
It was smooth sailing.
We get to 60, make the subs. McAllister comes on for Wirtz, which I guess you understand with the Tuesday Milan game, and then Bradley comes off for Joe Gomez. That one makes total sense. It's Bradley's first start since injury.
Yeah, exactly. Those two subs were fine. They're both they're it's almost like a like for Joe in some cases, and then McAllister for Wirtz?
For Wirtz, yeah.
Yeah, and that's our tried and tested midfield of him. Well, not Jones, but Jones had a pretty good game. Anyway, what I'm getting at is Konate goes down in the box.
Well, I want to say first, there's another 10 minutes of just sort of we're in control. Nothing, like it's fine. Now it's the 70th minute. Everything's easy. And yeah, this Leeds winger whose name escapes me currently. He's as far from goal as you could be while still being in the box. There's no threat. He doesn't even play across. The ball rolls out of play. And Konate, he goes down so early. I mean, he's probably 3 yards away from the guy when he slides.
He didn't have to go down.
There was no reason to go down. There was truly no threat in that moment.
Yeah.
And then sort of live, I thought, oh, that's not a pen. Like this guy, he kicked Konate. He wanted to go down. And then you watch the replay and no, it's Konate.
Doesn't get the ball.
He doesn't get the ball, but he also clearly gets the man. And at the last second makes a point to make sure he kicks the man. Again, for no reason, the ball was rolling out of play. It was the most infuriating of a season-long infuriation, string of decisions that Konate has made. This one is the most damning, I would say. I don't know how you feel about it.
Yeah, it's extremely infuriating because it didn't have to happen. Is just the biggest part where you just, like you said, you didn't have to go down. I think it was not Gananto. I can't pronounce his name, but the Italian winger for Leeds who didn't put a cross in, like you said, wasn't there. He was at such an angle that he couldn't take a shot. There's no way.
We also had numbers back. We had almost everyone in the box defending.
Right. So Konate didn't have to go down. He chooses to. He dives in, catches his feet. It's a penalty. And from that moment, it's a 73rd minute. Everyone knew, especially the Leeds fans and the Leeds players. They knew that their tails were up, that there's potential to get something out of this game. Calvert-Lewin scores the penalty, which is also equally annoying because he's an ex-Everton player. And then from there on, it's game on.
Well, it's game on for Leeds. It's deer in headlights stuff from Liverpool. I mean, how long between the first and second goals? How much time passes? 90 seconds?
It's 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like the same amount of time between Ekatike's goal. And this is the part that bothers me, is the amount of space that we then allow Leeds to have. The press is, somewhat gone, but then we have Gananto, who just has
that
all
same
the
winger.
space, the same winger who has all the space in the world on the left-hand side, who's able to play it to Stoch, their midfielder, who no one presses him. He's essentially unopposed, and then he gets just a 10-yard shot into the net, and it's 2-2, and it's obviously like this was going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised personally with just how quickly it came.
Yeah.
The fact that it took 2 minutes, I thought they might take 5, 7, but it is just clown on Konate day. And again, this guy's on the sort of center right side of the box, where
Hmm.
he's the right center back's man.
Hmm.
He receives the ball. He should have some help from Curtis Jones and from Joe. He doesn't in his defense, but he backs off him, and then when he shoots, he just turns away from it again.
It's the most infuriating thing to watch.
He does
As a
nothing to
when
block the shot. He
yeah
doesn't step
what
towards the man. He's got cover. Van Dijk's coming over.
yeah
Not
I,
not
I
that Van Dijk deserves a ton of praise.
yeah the defensive fragility, uh like at this point, um I don't know what we do. I don't know how you stem this,
I
because
don't know.
it's not.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not like we're outscoring teams. I feel like
but
there
we
was a
scored 3.
time. That's a good point, James.
That should be plenty.
But that was the most we scored in how many games? Like so we're not
Yeah,
like free
fair.
flowing. So like it's not like that's not really our get out of
Right.
jail
It's
free
not that
card.
Brendan Rodgers 13-14.
Right.
I think we beat Cardiff 6-3 one game that year.
The Norwich game with
Norwich.
when Lalana jumps on Klopp's back. Yeah, so those days are gone, even though we have, such extensive firepower. But yeah, I just don't know what to do. Like, I don't know. Like, do we just roll the dice and throw Joe Gomez on, even though he is, you know, uh, frail? He breaks down quite easily. But at this point, you gotta have to do something, and yeah,
So it goes 2-2, but then we
yeah,
actually show a little fight, which is the first thing. It's the first time we've done that in weeks, I would say, and ultimately score a pretty nice goal. I think Gravenberch plays the ball to McAllister, who looks like his old self for a moment, if
yeah,
ironically by not touching the ball. But he's got the awareness. He dummies it. It goes straight to Szoboszlai,
great
who
finish from
again
him.
tucks a great finish, tucks it away in the corner. Um, I don't know what you thought, but at 3-2, that goal was in the 80th minute.
Hmm.
Um, I,
I thought it was game
I
over.
oh, you did? Okay, because I was still thinking like our defense is so poor, we've got nothing here.
Well, this is the thing, and it annoyed some people, which I understand, because I think a lot of people, like you, assume that, okay, you need to get another goal. There's no way you're going to be able to hold the fort at 3-2. So what Slot does is he puts on Endo and he puts on Isak. So Isak, you understand, you need, Ekatike at that point is probably a little fried. So you put Isak on, who's the quality striker, but then you put Endo on, who is essentially not going to contribute in bringing the ball up. He's basically just a full-on stopper, and he'll just tackle you, get the ball, and dispose of it as how he can.
Right, he's not got a
But
lot of guile, not got a lot of sort of technical ability on the ball.
right. But the thing that
He's our
that
bulldog.
right, the thing that we have Salah, we have Chiesa, we have Ngamoa. What what we were talking about before in the Sunderland game, where we just put on a bunch of forwards and see if we can snag a goal. I feel like if we did that, it would have maybe have been the same outcome. Where, you know what I mean? Like, I know a lot of people were like, "We can't defend a 3-2 lead. We need to score another one." But then
So
I feel like
you're
every
saying
time
if we had gone sort of hell for leather, we would have ultimately
we
still
would have
conceded.
exposed ourselves again. So I just don't think that at this point we can't really do anything right. But I don't know about you. I mean, again, this was a talking point that I saw online, because we'll
Yeah,
get to it, but Leeds score off a set piece in the last minute of the game.
of course, in classic Liverpool fashion.
Another set
So
piece
first of
goal.
all, we get +9. That sucked, but I thought +6, +7 would have made more sense. And in either of those cases, Leeds still have time to score. They score in the
Mm-hmm.
96th. But no, so you said Isak makes sense. I'm going to disagree with you here. I thought
Mm-hmm.
this is, I got to say, not hindsight. I thought at the time, it doesn't make sense to bring on Endo and Isak at the same time, ever, because Endo is a batten down the hatches.
Yeah.
We're holding on to this 3-2 lead, and Isak doesn't defend.
Right. So
So
you're
you
basically
either
taking off. Yeah.
right, you're like you're it, the substitution in that sense, if you want Endo and if your goal is lock it down and maybe nick one on the counter, I think there are two choices to
You
replace
should put on
Isak.
Chiesa, huh?
Chiesa is
Yeah.
exactly the right choice. Chiesa for 20 minutes is going to dog him. He's going to press all over the pitch. And if the ball falls from the box, as we've seen all season, he'll score.
Right.
I think the other choice, and I don't know how this would have gone, is Salah. I think if Salah was playing through the middle, he, in spite of his sort of flagging pace later in his twilight years, let's say, he is more of a threat on the counter, I think, than Isak is, at least at this point in his Liverpool
But
career.
you don't think it would be the same thing on the defensive outlook where
Well, it would be
you're
the
essentially
same.
playing. Yeah.
I think it would be the same. For me, Chiesa clearly Chiesa should have been the substitution there. Because what you want is work rate. I mean, if you had Szoboszlai on the bench somehow, he would have been the choice. The whole point is you either can't sub on Isak or you can't sub on Endo together. It doesn't make they're the same ends of a magnet. They're repelling each other.
Well, let's get into it.
Well, so we concede.
But
yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah, we get a corner.
Yeah.
And it's just a corner that it kind of just deflects off Gravenberch. It almost goes off his hand. So
it was off his hand.
I wonder if they would have gotten the penalty if that went out.
I think they for sure would have. And, third time the crow crows. That's from the Bible.
But Tanaka's able to gather it, and it's an angle, but it's a great finish.
It is
and
a great
scores,
finish.
And Ellen Road goes crazy. And it's just another capitulation from Liverpool.
But one more time, before the ball gets to Gravenberch, Konate can win that header and just ducks under it.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about, man. I
don't get it either.
I don't understand.
I'm at wit's end. And he's been great. Well, he's sort of always had a bit of a mistake in him, but he'll have great form pretty much last season. He was, we won the league, obviously, and he was great pretty much start to finish. So I don't think that it has to be the end of his Liverpool career necessarily, but I would love for it to be the end of his December and maybe January.
For Konate?
Yeah, for Konate, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, I interrupted. That was a great finish. It wasn't a super inspiring defensive showing from Konate or from Gravenberch, or I'd have to watch it back to see what Alisson does. He probably couldn't do much about it.
Right. Yeah, it's just, again, another worrying trend that
yeah, it's a worrying trend.
I feel like for so long, Liverpool were coined the mentality monsters because we were just able to, and we saw it earlier this season where we were able to punish teams at the very end of the game and rescue 3 points. And now it's just the tables have turned and we just look so open. And I've read that Slot usually just does the attacking portion of the coaching, and I don't know if that's true because I know there's a coach that does the set pieces.
Right.
I don't know
whose job must be in severe jeopardy.
Right. I would hope so. That wouldn't make sense. I most likely am wrong about that. But just the whole defensive aspect of this team, this really needs to get ironed out. And look, I don't know when the next break is, or I don't think there is another international break, right?
I don't think it's until March.
Yeah, so you got to figure this out.
It. I mean, we've got January. We'll see if they sign a center back. Maybe it's Gahey. Maybe they're getting somebody from the continent. Yeah, like a Leone.
But we I almost said we lost this game. It felt like a loss. It really did. But we ended up drawing. It was two massive points because at the time when we were winning, we were in 5th place, which is I believe that is the last. That's Europa League, but we were 1 point off 4th.
Well, 5th last season got Champions League as well, and it's more than likely that will happen again. It's based on your European coefficient, based on your team's performance in Europe,
right?
Like the league's teams, all the English teams' performance. But I think that our coefficient is such that we'd have to have a really terrible showing, which we're having. In order to lose that 5th spot.
It's totally on the cards because right now we're 3 points off Crystal Palace, who were able to get a winner today, coming off Gahey. He scored the winning goal today, which is fun.
He scored a couple winners. He's a good player.
He's really good. We should got him. James, after the game, some players were interviewed.
Yep, it's time to get into it.
Interviewed.
It's time to get into it.
Mo Salah has he said some things. They asked him about the result, how he's feeling, asking him how, again, third game in a row he was benched, and he claimed that he felt like he was being thrown under the bus by the club. He declared that his relationship with the manager is broken and hinted that the next home game might be his last at the club, and said he did not feel wanted. James, it really went from bad to worse, and I understand Mohamed Salah feeling very frustrated about the outcome of the season, about his role in the team. But the thing I can't just like really wrap my head around is the fact that I feel like these are like the first few games that he's ever been benched in his Liverpool tenure, and now
Right.
he's getting extremely annoyed about it. And look, the results are not great. Again, we're undefeated in 3 technically. But it boggles my mind. I truly feel like it kind of like we're, given everything that's happened this season with Jota dying, our results, like it should be more of like, hey, let's not air this out for everyone to hear. Maybe we can do this internally. But
Yeah.
it just seems that he's so fed up with whatever's happening that he just doesn't care who what he's just setting everything else on fire, it feels like.
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts about this, but I think the first one is the one everyone agrees with. You kind of already touched on it. There's absolutely no reason to have this conversation in the media.
Yeah.
You're saying that he has an interview after the game, Salah does. Well, he hasn't had one all season. He
And
volunteered
the
for this one because he wanted to speak about it.
and the ones that when he talked last season was about him getting the contract extension. He
Right.
kind of is a drama queen.
He would score a goal, and then he would go to the media last year and cry
Yeah.
about how the club's behaving. And ultimately,
Yeah.
he got what he wanted. In that case, it was
Right.
obvious he wanted a contract. In this case, will he get what he wants? And what does he want? Presumably, he wants to play, but is he also, opening the door for himself to leave? I'm not sure. But yeah, the first thing is that it's dude's 33. He's been a superstar for a decade.
He's been our best player for
He's been the best
as
player
long
in the
as
Premier League.
yeah.
And he absolutely should and does, I would say, frankly, know better than to have this conversation publicly like he did. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's not a 23-year-old,
Right. You
he's
can't claim like
truly
naivete.
right. So yeah, it feels not out of character just because of what has been going on, but it does in a sense because he's such a professional, and he truly is like a leader of this team. And just to do that, it's funny. I don't know if you saw this, but in the interview next to him was, I think it was like Liverpool's press secretary. And when he said that, basically, when you mentioned him being thrown under the bus and that his relationship is broken, the press guy was just like, he like doubled back, like his eyes like got bigger. He's like, "What are you saying right now?"
That's all. That's all. Thank you.
Yeah, it was very, very funny. But yeah, I don't know. I've heard different things that like maybe this was more hinting towards less about the manager and more about the Michael Edwards
Yeah, the
and
execs.
the executive, because maybe they're telling Arne Slot not to play him because maybe they're trying to angle him out in January. Who knows? Like, who knows what's actually happening? But it really does feel like the hole that we have been digging ourselves into is now reaching China.
Yeah, I mean, it went from horrible period, like it's a horrible period right now, to like existential crisis.
Yeah.
With this, and go ahead.
No, it feels like Manchester United. It feels like I feel like we're so used to Liverpool being such a well-oiled machine since FSG took over.
Just
Now
professional.
it feels like a circus. It just feels like, you know, it feels like all of our dirty air is being let out, and it's just
it's venting.
yeah.
I mean, I guess there's a lot of things going on at once. The first is his comments on his relationship with Slot. He just says our relationship is broken.
Right.
Giving him the benefit of the doubt, you have to assume that he's had conversations with Slot, that he's not just saying this having not actually spoken to the man.
And also, like we said before, Arne Slot is not the most personable person.
But he's also not keeping things in. You know, if Mo went and spoke with him, you have to imagine that Slot told him exactly what Slot thinks.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so, Mo just presumably didn't like it, which fair enough. Be upset. Um, but, on the relationship being broken, it's not fixed now. And he's put
Yeah.
the manager into such a horrible position because was he going to pick him for Inter? Can he still pick him for Inter? Can he even
Right.
bring him to Inter being Milan for those,
And yeah. Could you imagine
non-Milan
him
heads?
getting, if he does start and get subbed off, just his reaction? Like, I just feel like now there's no, like, it almost feels like he has to start him just to kind of uh stymie this narrative that's happening right now. Like,
I mean,
like,
I could
what
see it
is,
the other way where he thinks that he can't play him because
yeah,
otherwise he sends the message that this player,
that's true.
had his
Yeah.
fit through his hissy fit and got what he wanted immediately.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, I didn't think about that. It's true. Yeah, I wasn't looking forward to this Inter game just because Liverpool are depressing me. But just given the narrative, it'll be very interesting to see what the team looks like that day because people are going to I'll be all over if Salah is not in or around the team at all. Like there's a chance he's not even in the on the subs bench if he doesn't even
Right.
start.
He might not fly. He might not fly.
Yeah.
Which I guess we'll find out soon enough. I saw the the Salah interview, and my initial
Hmm.
reaction was like, "Uh-oh, this is a
Yeah.
little gross." But
Yeah.
my reaction was not what I had been reading since, which is, are the executives trying to force him out? Are they preparing to sell Mo in January? And could this really be this upcoming home game? Could that really be his last in red? And that would be miserably depressing. It's just not
It's
the way for a
no,
club legend, for a Premier League legend, for someone like Mo Salah to leave a club. I hope that doesn't happen. I'm not sure where your head's at.
absolutely. This is not what we wanted. We were literally here in the summer of last year after he got his contract over the moon,
Right?
like so happy that he chose to stay. And I don't think anyone, like even though given his recent form, like wants him to leave, especially on these terms. It's not the way you want truly your best player probably ever to leave the club. Um, so I don't know. I hope something gets mended within these next few days. Uh, but
Well, there's
yeah, it is
the African-sized elephant in the room, which is
right.
AFCON. So a week from today, he won't be with the club regardless. And I can see that, sort of letting things simmer off and things are settled by the time he comes back, or he gets away from the club. He's on international duty and he thinks, oh, it sucks there. This is
Yeah,
great. That I don't need that drama. I'm not really interested in going back. I don't want to go sit on the bench, certainly. And
yeah.
maybe so I could see it pushing him one way or the other.
I did see him say though that he reiterated his love for Liverpool, that his daughters love living here, that he loves the fans. So there was like a little reiteration of just his time here and how much he's loved it. But so I don't know. Like maybe he just needs to cool off in Africa for a little bit. Um, but
Good phrasing.
but I don't. Yeah, it's just so disappointing, man. It just sucks. Like
Yeah.
literally, the last thing we needed was one of your best players to kind of have a hissy fit and tell that to the world. And now, like you said, the manager, who's already under so much pressure, has more. Even though, again, I also did read that I think FSG are like, this, you have nothing to do with this. Like, this doesn't affect your job in any way. Like, so we'll see about that. But yeah, man,
Talk is cheap.
yeah, the season has gone from bad to worse, and I don't see it getting better. This didn't help. And now we play Inter Milan, a very good team in the Champions League. And it's a must win because we lost against PSV, a team that should have beaten. And I'm going to bring up the table right now because I'm not quite sure where we're at in terms of the Champions
Well,
League.
we're on 9 points, certainly 9 and
We're on
6.
9 points. Okay.
And
So
16 points got you in the top 8 last season.
so we are, we're on 9 points, like you said. The last team is on 6 points. So
The last team in the
into
24.
yeah. So
Yeah.
on the 24th team is on 6 points. So yeah, there's and also we are 1 point away from the automatic qualification space. But Inter
Yeah, it would have been
Milan,
sick to beat PSV.
Would have been really awesome. They have 4
So
wins,
sick.
1 loss, and they're on 12 points. This is going to be a hard game, an extremely hard game. And I don't know, like you and I have talked about us being, maybe better equipped for Europe. The PSV game did not show that. We'll see about this Inter Milan
No,
game.
the PSV game did not show that. You're
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
so I don't even know who, I don't know. Do you think Salah will be on the pitch for this game? Do you think he'll be in the lineup?
It's really hard to say
Yeah.
being across the pond, proudly West Coast based. We're just so far from the issue. But I would say no. I don't think he plays. I think that he would have played. I think that he was going to be, if not starting, he was certainly going to have a significant role off the bench this game.
Yeah.
Although I probably think he would have started, honestly. But I think now that that's out the window. I think that given what he said, it would be too much of a showing of like loss of authority from Slot to play him now.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I feel like Slot does the opposite of like what I want him to do. Like I would love for him to play Ekatike, given his 2-goal showing, but he'll probably play Isak, who will just be a shadow and he'll get no support from his teammates. We don't have an option for Gakpo, and Gakpo has been blowing my mind in a bad way this season. So he'll probably get the start. But yeah, I mean the big question mark will be who plays on the right, and if that's Szoboszlai or Salah or Beard, somebody.
Well, there's
But
selection dilemmas like you're mentioning, but there's also the fact that we played Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday, Tuesday, so that's 4 games in 10 days, I want to say. And so there's just rotation concerns too. I mean, Gravenberch has played every minute. Szoboszlai has played every minute.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Who else has played every minute? Gakpo has played every minute. Jones at this point, I think, has played those last 3 games. So I'm interested. I think he might have been subbed off at a certain point, but there's fitness concerns just as much as performance concerns.
Yeah, it's just funny given the summer that we had too, and we're still like we feel like we're a strained squad, even though we spent $250 million on 2
More
players.
than that,
But
way
on
more
2
than players. That. Yeah, yep.
But yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's a great point. I didn't even think about the fatigue. I thought Jones had a pretty good game against Leeds. I would like to see him back in the lineup.
Yeah, well, Jones does this. The only sort of like a Joe Gomez. He comes into the side. He plays well. He looks like the kind of player who could, pick the starting spot up and become just sort of an everyday regular. And then he'll be hurt. So we'll see when that happens. Hopefully, knock on wood, it doesn't. But I agree. I thought Jones played well. I think Jones' versatility, a lot like Szoboszlai, he can play in the 10. He can play on the left, which he did after Gakpo came off. He can play pretty well at right back. And then, of course, this like the 8 role, the McAllister role, he plays that well.
Are you looking
and he's
forward to
quietly
this
like
game?
a big guy. He's 6 foot,
Jones? Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Am I looking forward to it? That was your question? I am looking forward to it, but it's now gone from I am entertained by watching my favorite team play to almost like a nature doc, who's going to get mauled.
Right. It's like morbid curiosity. Like, let's just see, how are we going to mess this up?
Is it going to be Slot? Is it going to be Salah? Right. How is the team going to fare? Are we going to qualify at all? I do think that 1 win, so 12 points, probably ekes us into 24th, which is not where you want to be. But it qualifies you, at least buys you some time.
Because after Inter, we play Marseille away, which will be an extremely tough game. And then we play Karabag, luckily at home, so we do not have to travel to Azerbaijan.
You want to say that Kara's in the bag for sure, but given our performances, who knows?
I cannot say Kara's in the bag. There's just no way. But they did get the draw against Chelsea. So that was a pretty a pretty meaty scalp. But and these are our next fixtures. So Inter Milan, which we talked about, Brighton, which will be technically Mo's last game before AFCON, or forever. We don't know. Yep. And then for the rest of December, we're playing Tottenham away, which they're so bad, but they might. It's going to be one of those weird games where it feels like we're both kind of. It might just be a really boring draw where we just kind of.
Right. People like to say the stoppable force versus the movable object.
Yeah. Right, exactly. And then we play at home to Wolves, rounding off the month of December. I don't know, man. These are all tough games in one way or another.
Yeah, I mean, if you're asking me how we're gonna do in terms of like the points that we're gonna put on the board, at this point, I don't know how anyone can say anything with any confidence.
Yeah, I don't think you can go into any game saying unequivocally Liverpool will win this game. You just
No.
can't. They've given you no reason to think that. So I think it's basically just being like, we'll see what happens. And if they
Even to
win,
call
that's
them favorites
awesome.
at this point is pretty tough.
Oh, absolutely, James. I agree. What a depressing episode, James. For the
It's
people
fascinating
that,
stuff, though. It's a period of
yeah,
Liverpool's history that will get referenced. Whether Slot pulls it out
right,
or gets replaced, this is going to be a time that people look back on and think like, wow, remember when we spent $500 million and then we
right.
lost to Nottingham Forest?
It'll be really interesting to see how the end of the season kind of. I'm like very, very curious about the January transfer window because I do think at this point we might have to do something, whether it is a Semenyo, a Gahey, a center back replacement.
Hopefully both.
Hopefully both. We'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't do anything.
I would
But
be a
then
little
going into the
surprised.
summer too. Going into the summer, it'll be really interesting because I don't know if you know this, James, but Xabi Alonso is having a horrible time at Real Madrid. They lost today. He's having a bad time.
I
Fans
didn't know
do
they
not
lost
like
today.
him. They lost today. They are now, I think, either 4 or 6 points behind Barcelona. But he's having a horrible time there. No one likes him. But
He's handsome.
he's very, very handsome.
He's got a relationship with a certain Florian Wirtz,
That's true.
also a Frimpong.
Also, yeah, I forgot we signed him. I
Yeah.
forgot that he existed. Also, Michael Edwards loves him. The big admirer of his. So we'll see. I'm very interested. Now I'm just like, I kind of want the season to be over. I want to fast forward to the end, but I do want to see all these little talking points because now it's just I'm no longer watching for anything
For
for
pleasure.
joy. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
no longer for I'm now just watching these games for just potential talking narrative points.
I mean, honestly, I was still watching for joy until that dagger of a third goal from Leeds. That one, like
Yeah.
I said, that was the gut punch beyond anything that has happened so
Right.
far this season for me. It was so brutal.
Also,
and not
it is-
surprising at the same time. Go ahead.
right? It could just be me, but does this like totally just like ruin your relationship with the sport in general? Like, yeah, I could care less about any other team or like what other teams are doing. Like, my wife asked me if I was excited for the World Cup because the groups were drawn and stuff, and I just was like, no, I'm done. I can't. My heart is broken. I can't watch this team. I can't watch the sport anymore.
That's a little dark, but I would say that I'm less excited for the World Cup. I'm certainly less excited for the weekend's results. The thing
Yeah.
is, we're playing so poorly. We're still 3 points back from fourth place. Everyone is kind of shit right now.
I know.
And that's the
But
thing
that's the
too, is
worst
it
part.
keeps dangling that carrot.
I know.
It keeps
That's the worst part.
swapping you in the ass so that you keep
Yeah.
moving forward.
True.
And I love a switch to the ass, if you know what I'm saying. It's a carrot on the stick, and I can't stop eating it, even though I
Yeah.
also can't reach it. Sort of like what's his name, Sisyphus. He's pushing the boulder up the hill, but he never gets to the top.
Right.
Anyway, I'm sort of mixing my metaphors, making an ass of myself, if you know what I mean, donkey-wise.
Pushing a carrot up a mountain. I get you.
Yeah. And so to answer your question, it does ruin my relationship with the sport, but also in like a masochistic way, I'm like kind of enjoying it.
Oh, interesting.
Something
Why?
interesting is happening.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's when we were in these title races with Manchester City, I'd always just feel sick to my stomach every
That
single game.
will ruin
that
the
was-
relationship to the sport.
In this, it's just different. Like there's no pressure. There's
Right, it feels
not a
like the stakes
pressure
are kind of
valve.
gone.
Oh, the stakes are non-existent. But it is just sad. It's sad to watch, but it's like it makes me like when they scored that third goal, I was like, yeah, that was gonna happen.
Typical.
But anyway, James, I think that does it for us here because I can't talk about this team anymore. But if someone wants to check us out, I hear we're posting little shorts on YouTube. What is this?
You heard right. And
What a segue.
You set me up so well. We are in the short game and we're doing numbers. Everyone,
Oh my
please
gosh.
check out at Redheads Podcast on YouTube. You'll laugh. It'll only take you 30 seconds. You'll also learn a little bit about yourself and about the Reds and about some interesting fans, specifically at the London Stadium. Yeah, we are on YouTube as well. The episodes get posted there. The episodes get posted to Spotify, to Apple, to Overcast, to a third or fourth option that I couldn't name, but that I'm sure exists. Maybe Octopus. That feels like it could be a podcast thing. You got 2 ears. You got 8 legs. Go ahead.
That's right. I don't know. I was gonna make a podcast. Make up a. Doesn't matter, folks. Check us out on Instagram.
Listen in. We're having a good time, even though we're having a bad time.
Yeah. Redheads Podcast on Instagram.
Also, if you haven't, listen to the last 30 seconds of the previous episode for a little special treat.
That's right. I know if you were going to catch that.
That I'm unhappy that it got included, but hey, we're all people. We make mistakes.
Hey, it's a good time here. I don't make mistakes, but, other than that.
Well, I'm talking about myself making a mistake in this case.
I know.
Yeah, anyway. Yeah. I kind of just made one now.
All right. Folks, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you back after. I guess we'll do an Inter Brighton episode.
That's right.
So fun.
Damn.
Peace.